Hello, everybody, and welcome to your favorite subject, math, right? Okay, so today we're going to be talking about vector operations. So these are actually pretty simple, but pay attention. Easy to make mistakes with simple things still, right? So we're going to start off by talking about adding and subtracting vectors. Now, there's two ways you can do this. You can do this by graphing, which is what this first section wants you to do. But you can also do it mathematically. But let me show you how you would do it by graphing first. And then I'll show you how to do it mathematically. Now, doing it mathematically is much simpler, which usually it's the other way around, like the graphing is the simpler one. But I'm going to show you both ways, and you guys can kind of choose what you would like to do. So this first set of vectors wants me to do v plus g. So vector v plus vector g. So if I were to graph these are in component form. So like v would be 1, 3. So this is vector v. Now, when we are trying to add these by graphing, I'm going to zoom in here just a tad. Okay. So when I'm trying to add these by graphing, when I start the second vector, so vector g, instead of going back to the origin like I would if I was normally graphing it, I'm going to go to the terminal point, the endpoint there of vector v, and then do the components. So I would go 5 to the right from here, and then up 2, and that's vector g right there. So this is vector v, this is vector g. Now to get v plus g, I go back to where I started, and then I just draw a vector that goes to the terminal point of that second point. So this new vector right here, this is vector v plus g. Okay? Which, as you can see, is at the point 6 and 5. So the components of the new vector are 6 and 5 with the pointy brackets. Okay? And that's how you would do that by graphing. Okay? Now I'm going to do a subtraction one, and then I'll show you how to do it mathematically, which is what you are all going to end up doing anyway. So this one, 4, 7. So I'm going to start again just by graphing the first vector. So 4, 7 is clear up here. Okay, so there's my first vector. Now, when I added, I started at the terminating point, right? When I subtract, I'm going to go back and start at the initial point. So 9, 6, I'm going to go over, oh, it's off the graph. Well, kudos for us for designing a great worksheet. Who made this? That was me. It was me. It's okay. Okay, so off the graph a tiny bit, it's fine. There is my second vector. Now, to do a subtraction problem, I just draw a vector connecting the two terminal points and figure out what those components are. Okay, so this one's going to go over, and that's my, so this is h, this is m, this is h minus m. So its components are going right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down 1. So it would be 5, negative 1. Yeah, okay. And I didn't even change the letters. So I did a great job on this worksheet. Okay, so I have a problem here. Why is that not right? Hold on, I'm going to pause. Okay, I figured out my problem. It's because I just have the arrow going the wrong way. So when you do the subtraction, you start at the head of the second vector and you go back to the first. That's the new vector. Okay, so then when I count, I'm actually going 5 left and up 1. Okay, so it'd be negative 5 and positive 1, which makes a lot more sense. Okay, and this should be h minus m, by the way. Okay, now that's how you do it graphically. So again, with adding, you just start at the head of the second or of the first vector, and then you just draw a, you start at the initial point of the first and go to the head of the second. Okay? With subtracting, you basically just both start at the origin, right? And then you go draw an arrow going back to the first one, and that gives you your components. Now, to do this mathematically, it's pretty simple. It's just you add the x's together. And you probably figured that out when I was writing the numbers down, right? 1 plus 5 is 6, and 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay? That's all you'd have to do. Right, literally, just add the x's together, there's your new x component. Add the y's together, there's your new y component. Okay? With subtraction, it's just, subtracting them. Same idea. The first one minus the second one. So 4 minus 9 is negative 5. And 7 minus 6 is 1. Okay? So that would be your new components there. Okay? So that's all you're really doing when you're adding or subtracting. Now, we also have some of these where we have a scalar. Now, we already kind of talked, or if you've done the dilations, you have seen this before. If not, you'll see that next time. But when you have a scalar, it's kind of the same idea. You just take that number and multiply both numbers. So like 5v, these are 1, 1, right? It'd be like 5 times 1, which is 5, and 5 times 1, which is 5. So 5, 5 would be 5v, right? So like the original v would be that tiny little vector right there, right? 5v would be all the way up there. 5 times the length. There's 5v. Okay, not too bad, right? Negative 2. Again, you just multiply them. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. So again, just to kind of show you what it was originally, negative 3, 4 is this vector up here. Okay, so that's vector A. And then positive 6, negative 8 is clear down here. Twice the length going the other direction. That's negative 2a right there. Okay, so that's how it changed. Now, that's all you're basically doing with these scalars here. Now, you are going to run into some problems like this. Actually, let's do this one. Okay, where you have a scalar and an operation. Now, the scalar, I just have a negative in front of the f. Again, negative is the same as like a negative 1. So basically it just wants me to multiply f by negative 1 and then subtract it by g. So let's find negative f first. Negative f would be negative 5 and negative 10, right? That's negative f. And then it wants me to subtract g. So again, to subtract, you just subtract the two x's. So it'll be like negative 5 minus 0, which is negative 5, right? And then it would be negative 10 minus negative 7. Now, when you minus a negative, you end up adding, right? So it'll be like negative 10 plus 7, which is negative 3. And that would be your new component. Okay? All you're really doing. Okay, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let us know. We're here to help. We want to help, and I'll see you guys out there.